What's up guys, my name is Nashuddin and welcome back to the Art Show. Today's episode is all about discovering the mysteriously otherworldly descent of the Pinnacles. Back then, in January 2023, when my family and I were in the middle of nowhere in Saudi Arabia, I imagined the actual desert looked like you're in another country, especially like in the western United States.
It looks like in New Mexico.
In October 2025, after we ate lobsters for lunch in Cervantes in the state of Western Australia, we and a tour guide for Utopia Tours discovered one of the most surreal tourist spots widely called the Pinnacles Desert within Nambung National Park, located at the southern gateway to Australia's coast along the Indian Ocean Drive, approximately 200 kilometers or 2 hours drive north of Perth. The Pinnacles are natural limestone formations from 25,000 to 30,000 years ago.
All day we've been talking about sand dunes, we've been talking about limestone, we mentioned things like calcium carbonate which creates limestone, we talked about trees with tap roots that go down into the sand, and we basically talked about how water soaks into the sand, collects that calcium carbonate, drags it down and then creates limestone and cave systems and all these other things. With the stalagmites sticking up off the floor, rip the roof off the cave, you've got that. Okay, so think of one of those big white sand dunes we've gone past. Think of trees that have got roots coming down. Now if you go into a cave, wherever there's a root coming down through the roof of the cave, water goes drip, 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 and a stalagmite grows. Now think of that occurring within a sand dune. So a root going down into the sand creates a path of least resistance for the water. The water follows the root down, collects all the calcium carbonate on the way, and the pinnacle starts to form below the tree. Okay. Now, take a fire, get rid of the trees, take the wind, get rid of the sand, and then you start to expose that layer of limestone that's been ingrown underneath that forest. Alright, that's what you've got. Okay. So essentially, trees, rain, ocean, because without the ocean and the calcium carbonate, you wouldn't have it. Right, so a whole bunch of different environmental elements to create the pinnacles. Alright, 6,000 years ago, they were still covered in sand. That's when they first, or basically most recently, were exposed and have remained exposed ever since. Alright, so the weather has been doing its work on it. So the pinnacles actually kind of look like candles. They're a bit melted on top. Alright, so they've got what's called flow rock coming down the sides for where the rain lands on them, and it basically melts them down the side of it. Around the sides is all rough, and that's from where the wind is picking up the yellow form of river sand and blowing that around the sides of it and sandblasting it and basically scratching away at it. And then the very base of it is the most recently exposed, so that's the thickest, newest, nicest looking part, even though it's older than the stuff that's on top. Make sense?
Trust me, you will not find anywhere else in the country and the continent of Australia like this. This feels like you're seeing the mysteriously otherworldly limestone pillars in a yellow desert in another world rather than Arabian or Sahara Desert. This also feels like you've stepped on Mars in science fiction. And well, that's how we discovered the Pinnacles Desert. We've come to the end of this episode of The Art Show. If you like my show, leave a comment below, hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new to watch some more episodes of The Art Show. And so, we have enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you next time. Until then, bye!